What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the CultureVerse podcast. Today, we just have myself, Tyler, and Jack here as we are reviewing Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Jack had seen, I believe, all of the movies already and pretty much encouraged Tyler and I to get around and actually try to watch them for this movie. So Tyler and I went through and watched them all just in time. Jack and I literally finished Dead Reckoning like 2 hours before we went to see Final Reckoning. But yeah, it's just us three. Caleb has not seen any of the Mission Impossible movies, says he does not want to, so we were not going to force that on him. So, just the three of us here to review Final Reckoning. Obviously, spoilers ahead. If you don't want it spoilered. If you don't want it spoiled, do not listen. But yeah, come back to this episode after you've seen it. Let us know what your thoughts are. But yeah, let's get right into it. Does anybody want to go ahead and start with like either their overall feelings or maybe something specific? No, no, no. Okay.
I mean, I literally just leaned over to you about, I don't know if it was halfway or three-quarters with the movie. I was like, am I like crazy or is this like actually peak cinema right now? Because that definitely exceeded my expectations.
I saw a lot of people calling this the end game of Mission Impossible. That's exactly what it feels like. I mean, it feels very tip of the hat, very like giving credit to the movies before. I mean, the first 30 minutes, it's just showing us all the cool shit that all the movies have done. Like it's just flashbacks and stuff. And that's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like I like that. It was cool to see that. And this movie also does really good on that note of tying into old ones. We finally figure out what the rabbit's foot is, considering we just were not really ever told it's dangerous, and that was really
Yeah,
great. So I'm glad that they went back and pretty much fixed that hole because that was a fairly big thing. Jack, I know you and I had mentioned it several times. We were like talking about the old movies. We were like, "Hey, what the fuck's the rabbit foot?" Like, why did we never figure that out? And good job on this movie to go back and fix that and really effectively tie it into the entity and make it all work in the end. But I'll after watching Final Reckoning, or yeah, no, Dead Reckoning, sorry. I was a little iffy about the concept of the villain of the entity. I don't like AI, and not like I'm afraid of it or I think it's stupid. I just don't think it's as compelling. You don't have an actor that gets to be charismatic as the villain. Instead, it's just this all-knowing, all-seeing entity concept.
what about Gabriel?
He's there. I mean, he's all right.
Yeah.
Honestly, his actor doesn't do a great job, in my opinion. He's okay. He had some moments in this movie where I was actually kind of like, oh, wow, that was not a very good line. A lot of the stuff on the plane when he was just like laughing, I was like, oh, all right, this guy's weird. But this movie, I think, did better with that AI concept, and I did enjoy it. I liked the entity. I thought it was enjoyable enough. I still would rather just like a really good villain, but whatever, it's good. It works. But I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are on the entity.
The entity is absolute. I agree with you for the most part. And then it like ties around and they constantly do across both movies. They're like, that's exactly what it wants us to think.
Yeah, they just
But
go down that
what if
rabbit
it
hole.
wants you to think about what we're thinking about?
But
And it's
what if
like, it's like, what are you talking about?
Jack, it is
Just
written, dog.
yeah, as it is written. And then at the end, after all that conversation about what it might do, they're just like, as it was written, it was happening anyway.
It's
It's
written.
like what? All
Come on,
right.
man.
I don't like the idea of an AI villain very much either. And they tried to like kind of give it a face with Gabriel in the last movie.
Hmm.
Wasn't like super compelling as a villain. And then in this movie, he's just like, fuck it, I'm going rogue.
Yeah.
And he's just like his own thing.
Hmm.
And he's literally just there to be a problem. He's like, there's no like evil master plan. He's just like, I'm gonna control the entity. And do what? I You just don't really see the vision with him. He's basically just there to annoy Tom Cruise so that he can kill him eventually, which he does. So,
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
it worked out. It worked out just fine.
that's fair. Tyler,
Tyler, any thoughts on the AI overlord Chat GPT?
the
I mean,
entity.
it, it's fine. I think not having the face be a good villain
Hmm.
with Gabriel is true. That being said, the aspect of people being absolutely helpless, I thought was a great aspect that they dove into with this movie,
Hmm.
especially in the is it the war room? I'm gonna call it the war room
I would
Oh
call
yeah,
it
yeah,
that.
yeah.
with the president and her just sitting there not being able to do
Good.
anything until the
Hmm.
last second. The intensity in that entire scene was great, and I thought that despite having no physical contact or anything with the villain, they
Hmm.
still approached that very well, which I enjoyed.
I can
So,
agree with that for
The
sure.
the
I mean, there's a lot
the
of tension there.
psychological.
Yeah, there's
mhm.
a lot of tension there. I mean, especially when they're like presenting to her the fact that she would have to sacrifice a U.S. city. Like that's crazy. Like
I wanted them to pick. I
that's
I'm
wanted
well,
curious
them to have
what
the
the city
balls.
was.
obviously they weren't gonna say it because
They
then
should have.
fans watching the movie in that city would be like, "What the hell?"
Could you imagine like watching that in like New York and they just go, "We're gonna have to take out New York," and you're just like,
They just dox you like
you're
perfectly.
just
Like
like,
it's like a
what?
small town in like Montana. But it um I agree, Tyler. That's a good thing. And like technically you don't need AI to do that. You just could use somebody who got into the missile codes and whatnot, but AI makes it a lot easier. You can jump over a lot of hoops and just be like, well, AI figured it out, which it's not fully a plot device, but it is at the same time because your reasoning for everything is, oh, well, the AI just learned it. It's like,
It's smart.
okay. Like, you're not going to question it enough, but at the same time, yeah, you're kind of losing that face you were talking about, that personality with an actual villain. And you kind of get it when like Ethan goes into the machine and the entity talks to him. You kind of get it there. And it's interesting, but like there's just not a whole lot of mentioning of the entity other than just like what it is and how afraid of it we are. And then that's kind of the end of it. And then Gabriel's just kind of there. You mentioned Jack, he went rogue and the whole like he's just he kind of mentions what his plan is when he's like you'll all live, everyone you know will
Oh
live
yeah, yeah,
happy and safe in my world once I can control the entity. So I'm sure he just wants to like, I don't think he's necessarily a bad
yeah.
guy. He just is blinded by the fact that he wants to control the entity, which seems to be, I mean, even for a while, even Grace was going down that path. She was like, somebody could control it, Ethan, nudge, nudge. And Ethan was like, no, like
Uh, do
intelligent.
not become a Gabriel defender in any light. That man killed our hero.
That's true. He did. He did.
It,
Yeah.
which I don't have any words for that. That's
Well,
absolute damn tragedy.
honestly, it's tragic, but it works. I mean, it really
It did
does.
work.
They made it work very well, especially with the tie-in at the end with the message that should mean something to me. Like that
Well,
was good.
and it's also like, how are these three still alive after all these
Bro, you
movies?
one of
So
them gotta die at some
it
point.
makes sense that at some point something would go wrong. And I, I made a joke to Gabe that Ving Rhames like read the script and was like, "Oh God, I don't want to do all that. Just kill me."
I mean,
And so
they also clearly were painting his character as
yeah,
having this illness, so he probably wasn't gonna live
yeah,
long anyways. So I mean, and it was pretty. I mean,
mm,
the acting was amazing, by the way, between both of them in that scene where he's telling him to leave. That was really good.
mm,
That was some of the best Tom Cruise acting I think I've seen in the whole franchise. I mean, very emotional, but. Yeah, they did good tying it in. The thing that surprises me is that we got out at the end without killing anybody. Like I was certain someone was gonna go down. Like I was pretty sure it wasn't gonna be anybody huge. Like I thought it was probably gonna be the couple, especially when they, then
yeah.
they say that
Gabe
they're
literally hit
sacrificing.
the Will Levis when they
Yeah,
did
I
that.
was like, no.
We'll
Also,
stay behind.
I'll go back to this in a minute, but that reminds me, excellent job of tying in a character from the first one and not using it as just a cameo. Like it's actually a good, meaningful, useful inclusion, and it's not just like, hey, here's the guy from the first one, and then we never see him again, like he's a garbage truck driver or something. Like this was actually meaningful, and his character was really enjoyable, and I was like emotional with the thought of him dying. I was like, dude, this guy's such a
No,
real one. Like, please don't kill this guy. Look at his wife. Like, I just
she's chill.
they're so happy. Don't kill them. So like the fact that we got out of there without anybody dying, and Benji especially, I didn't
I
think
thought
they
he
were
was
gonna
cooked.
I didn't think they were gonna kill Benji. They killed Luther. I didn't think they were gonna
Yeah,
kill
after they killed Luther, I was like, all right,
yeah, at
Benji's
least Benji's safe. Which is
What
a
if they took
crazy
them
thing to
both from
say.
us?
They wouldn't.
0 out of 5.
Yeah, they wouldn't. But
Just, I'm never coming back to the theater.
yeah, that's something I was surprised about. I was surprised they got out without killing anybody. And I mean, I even cared for, funny enough, I can't think of his name now, but the guy who switched to their side and was with them.
Oh, the cop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
had no
cop. But
idea.
I liked him too. Like he was useful in this movie. I enjoyed
100%
his
hated him.
character. So I'm really glad that we got out without anybody actually dying, other than, R.I.P. my boy Luther.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. But
His name was Degas, which is why I
yes,
have no idea.
Dead
That's
ass.
why I wouldn't remember his name.
dead
Yeah,
ass.
dead
Yeah,
ass.
dead ass is what they called him. Um, how about the intensity of this movie, man? This movie had some intense moments.
Dude, the sea diving sequence
Ugh,
might be the best sequence in the entire franchise.
I
That was
I said that to
awesome.
The
Jack.
what? The submarine?
The going into the water with the suit and everything in the
Yeah,
sea
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
was awesome.
The set
Yeah, that's great.
design for the inside of that submarine is crazy, dude. Like,
Hmm.
and you can tell they put a ton of work into it because I mean, that scene's like 15 minutes long of him going through
Oh
the
yeah.
submarine. Like,
Yeah, that's a good chunk of the movie too.
and that's a phenomenal scene. Like, the tensity of, like, especially when dude, when you realize when he's trying to go through the torpedo tube and you realize that he's gonna take off his
Hmm.
suit is the worst part. You're like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
And then he
Hopefully
takes
you don't
off the
like
mask.
hopefully you're not afraid of the ocean or claustrophobic or
I
Yeah.
did question that scene though because I felt like I don't know how deep exactly they were, but I feel like the pressure would have gotten to him
I
pretty
was
buddy,
curious. I was
do you even know
curious.
who Ethan Hunt is?
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
don't
matter.
Yeah, he's
He
actually
could
been
go,
like,
know.
I dead ass could watch this guy take off his helmet in space and I'd be like, he's probably holding his breath. I don't know.
no, he's literally died twice and come back to life. So at this point,
Yeah.
you never know.
Well,
But
three
yeah,
times
Tyler, I
now.
thought I thought that too, Tyler. I was also like, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not quite bad enough to where I'm like, God,
Yeah,
but I
Man,
mean,
you'd be a popsicle.
especially when he took off his
the
helmet
mask, yeah.
when he was falling down. I was like,
Mhm.
I don't think he would have been able to swim to the top
I'm
because they
definitely
were
curious.
pretty far deep.
I do like how they kind of explained earlier how he would live, though. The fact that with hypothermia, he'd freeze up and
Hmm.
he'd still live. Like, they explained that well. So
Yeah.
I wasn't questioning the fact that he lived,
Mhm.
but I was like, when he's first taken off the helmet, I was like, wouldn't the pressure like collapse his lungs? Like, how is he alive? Like,
It's fine.
but whatever. I mean, it's not one of those that's gonna like ruin the movie. You're just gonna be
Hmm.
like, I think their reasoning would say that he's not as deep as we think he is, that he's probably just deep enough to where it wouldn't if
Hmm.
he's
Yeah.
breathing right, or like I'm sure I don't know. Either way, that scene is crazy. Like that
Yeah.
whole concept is insane. Watching the submarine slowly start rolling down is so anxiety
Oh
inducing.
my gosh.
Like dude, it's gonna fall. Like he's toast. Like it's just so good. And this little jump scare with the dude in the
Oh,
submarine,
Hmm.
that
dude, that.
actually low key got me. I was like, oh, whoa.
And then the little flashback to see what happened to everybody. That was
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
cool.
that was really good.
The him surviving the hypothermia, I mean, I think that's just I think that's a classic Mission Impossible that like
Hmm.
a pillar of the franchise at this point because that's just what they always make things just slightly more unnecessary than they need to be because you're like, dude, we believe you. Like
Yeah,
it was intense. We agree. Like in the third one where he has to like, oh shit, this hospital doesn't have any defibrillators, so we're gonna have to improvise. Like you were already gonna have to kill yourself with the defibrillator. Like it was intense enough, and
yeah.
then they like up it and they're like, let's make it even more impossible and have him like bite a
Say that again.
wire or something. And then in the fourth one, remember he literally just drowns. Like,
Yeah,
and I remember Gabe, you made a comment. You're like, he could have had like one last push and opened the thing, but no, he just dies.
he
And
straight up
then
just
she
drowned
comes
for
and
that
gets
one.
him,
Yeah.
and she has to revive him.
So he's
And
probably
so
actually he's probably been dead at least 5 times.
they
Like
always take it like
completely
one
dead.
step too far. You're like,
Yeah,
guys, he's already gone through enough. We believe how intense it was, and they're
yeah,
like, watch this.
yeah,
We hate him.
for sure. I mean, that's the appeal of it though, is that
Yeah,
like that slightly unrealistic
there's
aspect.
awe.
Like, there's no way this guy lives, and then he does, and you're like, what? But
But I would always say that to you, Gabe. I'd be like, do you think he's dead?
and every
Like,
time I would say yes.
yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's over. It's over. Series is over. Canceled. Um, Obviously, one of the biggest parts of this movie is like the entire final act with the airplane cutting
Mhm.
back and forth between the super high intensity of Benji trying to walk Grace through, shutting down the bomb and whatnot, and then cutting to the agent and his wife and them trying to disable a nuclear bomb. Like, so much intensity in that moment. And it's also insane to me the behind the scenes of Tom on that plane is ridiculous, dude. Like
Mhm.
the stunts he did in this movie were just crazy for especially at his age. Dude's like 60 years old, hanging from an airplane. Like, what are we doing, bro?
There's no way that man's 65. I refuse to believe it.
Dude, someone needs to
He's
stop this.
65. I thought he was like 62.
He's in his 60s.
It's
Either way, there's
yeah,
no
He's in his
way.
early
dude,
60s, which is ridiculous.
it's
A dude in his
wild.
50s shouldn't be doing this shit. I mean,
I couldn't do that.
Not
hell,
even doing
most
what he's doing, but
actors,
he also like
Yeah.
looks like he's in his early
yeah,
40s.
he does. Most actors, regardless of age, probably shouldn't be doing the stunts he's doing. And he's in his
Mhm.
60s,
The
hanging off of an
stuntmen probably
airplane.
shouldn't be doing it.
There's a
Does he even
scene,
have one? Does he even have one?
Probably
definitely,
not. Maybe.
maybe just for like some scenes, like if he's tired. I
Yeah,
refuse to
maybe it's
believe he
like an
gets tired
emotional
though.
support guy.
No, but there's a shot where they're like fighting on the plane or whatever, and you can so clearly tell that Gabriel's CGI'd and Ethan
Yes.
isn't. Like you're like the fact that I can literally see that Tom is actually hanging off of an airplane and then Gabriel's not. Like you wouldn't even think it's CGI'd if they were just both CGI. Like I don't think you would realize it. You would maybe be able to tell, but when you're comparing it to a guy who's literally hanging from an airplane, it's like okay, that's noticeably different. Like that's crazy, dude. And I don't even blame the actor for Gabriel. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to do what he's doing. Like CGI me in, please. Because I'm not doing that shit. Like, what the hell, dude? The behind the scenes are so funny when like Simon Pegg is watching and he's like, there's been one where he like started crying because he was so nervous. Like, can you imagine having to work with this guy and just watch him do this shit? Like, dude,
You dead
stop
ass are in the mindset of my coworker might just die today.
at any
Like my
point.
coworker and friend might just fall out of the plane and die. And
Yeah.
there's, I mean, I'm sure
And
sure there's safety stuff,
I
but
mean, yeah,
Tom
but you
Cruise
could still
also,
easily get hurt. Like
yeah.
you could
Well,
die.
Tom
The things
Cruise
he
in an
does.
interview literally said he just fired a safety guy before for telling him he couldn't do something
Uh,
and then hired a new one.
it's just
So it's
and
like,
the worst part is like you feel so freaked out after that first one, and then he goes back and does like 12 more takes. And you're like, stop! It looked good the first time. Like it's just insane, dude. The guy is Tom Cruise is a madman, but it pays off. In this
it's
movie,
fun
there's
to
an
watch.
example of that paying off. Like the action, the tense, it's just so tense. This movie is so tense. I'll let someone else throw something out there while I'm saying.
I think that's the difference between this one and the Dead Reckoning, the one before it,
Yeah.
is both are incredibly ambitious and like the most wide stakes of any of them.
Mhm.
This is my exact quote to you, Gabe. The Dead Reckoning is the most expensive trailer I've ever seen because it's
True.
a solid to good movie, but really it's just setting up this. It's setting up
Yeah.
potential for a really great movie, and I'm
Mhm.
glad that that's exactly what this ended up being because your intensity culminates. Tyler talked about that war room, like it was all about the global scale, like tensions and whatnot. And so, yes, there's an AI thing, but really it was like all of humanity getting pushed to the brink at the same time. It was the first Mission Impossible where it was like, wow, this feels like it's affecting literally the entire world.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the other ones feel like they're happening behind the scenes. No, this was everybody knew about this,
Mhm.
and he had to clutch for 7 billion people that all knew they were relying on him.
Yeah.
So, and then another thing I think this movie does better than the last one is the last one killed Ilsa, and I like didn't really care. Like they didn't. So when we talked about Luther dying in this movie, it was like emotional and provided value to the story. And the last one, it's just like, thanks. Like really, we just killed off a character that's been here and for basically no reason, just because Gabriel's ass beat her in a knife fight with a sword, or when she had a sword. It was just
Yeah.
like, wow, okay. And then this one, it's like Luther's going out with a bang, and he's saving like the whole team and saving the city, and it just felt more meaningful. I think they just handled their higher stakes better in this movie by a long shot.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like how they killed Ilsa either, but at the same time, we are comparing the emotional factor between Luther and Ilsa. We're
The
definitely
goat
going to be
versus,
more
yeah,
emotional, regardless of how Luther died. It was going to be more emotional. But
It
I
doesn't
agree
really
with
yeah,
even
you.
help
I
that
didn't like.
Ethan had like 7 love interests throughout the
yeah.
entire
Well, and
franchise.
does she even get a say in it? Does she even have like last words? Like,
Probably
does she even say anything, or
I
does she
think
no.
just
so.
die?
He just shows up and she's dead,
Yeah, I think they were just like, "Hey, Rebecca, like, get off the set,"
which is I hate
which is
that. But
crazy.
whatever. Like, whatever. It is what it is. We're talking about Final Reckoning, not Dead Reckoning. So
True, true.
I agree though. It's this one just felt bigger, felt more impactful on on the audience as well, like just from a viewing standpoint. But what really got it for me was I felt like this one had the best storytelling we've had yet, the most in depth, the most like well thought out. There wasn't like a bunch like I don't know if there was a single time where I was like, well, that was cliche or that was like I feel like almost all of them there's been something that maybe felt a little silly or a little goofy. Like and I've always written it in my reviews or like complained about it, but like this one just didn't feel that way. It felt like we took more time building a impactful story and cared, but like we didn't lose action for that. Like they managed to make it a really deep story with a bunch of different levels, really well written, and then the intensity was just as high, if not higher, than all the other films. Like this one was just to me just done the best. I mean, it was just the most well done Mission Impossible movie that we've had. I was just very surprised by all of that, and frankly, I wasn't expecting this one to be bad, but I wasn't expecting it to be good either. I was trying to be like cautious because if this one wasn't very good, that would be so bad for this franchise. Like we literally did a part one and part two, and then part two sucked. Like that would fail the franchise. And it's not like they're gonna, I mean, we all know they probably will continue it on at some point in some way, whether it's a spin-off, whether it's a, I've already heard them talking about doing something where it's like Ethan recruits his own team basically and is less
Benji
involved.
spinoff.
But what? Him sitting behind a
Sorry.
computer. Um, but I don't know. This one just felt more grand, more meaningful, more cinematic. I do like the word cinematic. This one felt very cinematic. Like it was just this one was just exactly what you want out of a. I guess I'll call it a finale, even though, like I said, we probably will get more of some sort. But this is what you wanted out of your big part two. It just did it right. It really did.
Mhm. I mean, if I'm gonna jump into the complaint section of this review,
Hmm.
I I don't know the time frame, but I thought the beginning of this movie was very concerning. The thing that separated my thoughts on the other movies about if they were good or not was honestly if the opening was good or not. And I thought in the beginning of this movie we were jumping all over the place with no explanation on how we got where. And then also the one action scene we got in the beginning, they didn't even show anything in the
That was
basement or
dumb.
the cellar.
Mhm.
I really hated that. And it doesn't it probably the reason why they did that in the beginning with the jumping around everywhere to get people and to establish what we're gonna do is because this movie was already 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Mhm.
So that's probably why, but still, I was not a big fan of the beginning. But after we got past that point, cinema the rest of the way through.
I would also think that another reason it's that way is because this was a part two. So it was kind of like picking up, which meant we weren't going to get that really fun intro that we normally get. Instead, it was like we're already in the middle of this, so we're going to use some time to
But
lay down the groundwork.
time wise, how far are we from Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning?
I
Because
believe they said it's been, I think they
Two
said
months.
it's been, yeah, it had been a few
it
months.
felt like
So
years.
they just kind of were using that. Like instead of opening up essentially a new film, they used the first bit to like explain where we are, which didn't need to really happen. Like we knew already. Like we just watched Dead Reckoning. We don't need you to lay the groundwork and lay the blueprints again. So I
Even
get what
with
you're
the
saying. There
Knights
was
of
definitely a time where I was like, this is getting kind of slow. Like this feels slow in the
Mhm.
beginning. And that's just that long run time. Like you mentioned that too. I mean, it's a long run time. This is a long movie. Like it doesn't feel crazy long, but it felt like 2 hours and 45 minutes to me. Like it felt the runtime. And I think the first half is the reason for that. Like the first half, it's a bit long. Like I remember thinking that as soon as I got out was
I think it's once we hit the submarine scene, that's when it really.
that's when shit really gets like
Hmm.
intense, like crazy intense. And that's just the first half is just a lot of lore building. It's a lot of building the plan and figuring out how we're going to go about this. And that's necessary. Like you have to do that. And I enjoyed that a lot, but it does end up leaving you with that kind of like, okay, like this is getting a little slow. We need something to happen. And I completely agree with you, Tyler. When something was gonna happen, we just didn't show it. Like, why did we not show that?
Yeah, like them infiltrating the prison to
Yeah.
take Paris. They
Wh-
just showed up. It's like,
There's also
oh,
like
here we are.
the scene of him like fighting those guys for Grace was just obnoxiously long of us just looking at Grace for like 15 seconds and watching her reaction. Like,
Hmm.
come on, bro. Like, you don't need to not. When have we not shown action in Mission
Literally
Impossible
never.
movies? Why are we suddenly not doing that? Like, and
Even if
I
the action
love to see
sucked, they
him.
showed it.
Yeah, and he acted like, and the way he acts is like, and the way Grace responded too was like he just ripped them all apart. Like, why would we not see him do that? Like, did we run short on the budget all of a sudden? Because I know we didn't. Like, they had the money, so I don't know. It was almost like they wanted it to be comedic. Like, it was kind of funny to see her react, and it was like that just pissed me off. Like, that's not
Yeah.
funny at all. I want to see it. So. The first half has its issues with pacing, it has its issues and whatnot. So definitely it's not like it's just 3 hours of absolute perfection. Like it's not the greatest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just it's like it's a long movie. Long movies have points where they drag. I mean, I'm sure you I don't know if you will agree with this or not, Tyler, but like the three Lord of the Rings movies have moments where they drag. They
Mhm.
they do.
Yeah, the second one, the middle part of the second one is it's a trip.
Yeah.
It's a
So
trip.
like every long movie has its moment. The only
Tom
one that I will
Curry.
say maybe Infinity War. Infinity War, it's tough to find a point that really drags. Like it's pretty peak. But
There's
like I
nothing wrong with
said,
that movie.
okay, well, careful now.
Not really. Well,
Other
well,
than not using the Hulk. But they don't
in the way they took it
disservice him, they
down.
just don't do it.
It's nearly perfect. We'll put it that way. But like I'm saying, like any movie that is almost 3 hours, I'm gonna expect a moment where I'm like, okay, this is getting boring. And it had its moments. But like Tyler said, that second half is just you're not leaving your seat. Like there was a moment where I was like, if I have to go to the bathroom, I'm toast because I don't want to get up. Like I'm not getting up.
I ain't leaving.
Like I was like, that's the way I'll put this. This is not one of those movies where there's like, once you hit that halfway point, there is not a time where you can get up and go to the bathroom. Like, it's just constant
The
action.
guy, the
So,
guy next to me left. He got up and left and went to the bathroom for a good 5 to 10 minutes.
what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
If you are going to go to the bathroom, use the first half for sure. Because the second half, you don't get a
Or
break.
just hold it
Dude,
or go to the bathroom beforehand.
Bring a
dude,
cup,
don't drink anything all day. And
pull an end game.
that's the way to do it. That's how we've done it for years.
Yep.
That's how you get it done at the Marvel
That's how the
movies. Just
vets
don't
do
drink
it.
anything, malnourish yourself,
Yep.
and then
Weak
feast
bladders.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Huh?
You have weak bladder.
I
You have to
guess.
not drink water all day.
It's just
Bro,
in preparation.
it's to be overly
Also a
safe.
mind game for me, I swear. Like I'll drink like one thing and then if I'm in a movie theater, I'll be like, "Oh shit, I gotta pee."
I like never have to go to the bathroom when I'm watching a movie.
You are graced by a gift from God
But
himself.
then when I get out of that movie, then I have to go, obviously. But yeah,
I
Bro psyoped himself.
it's about food. It's
dude,
it's
I
a
swear, like I
it,
never.
that's incredible. For me, it's like the flip of a coin. I'll either have to or I don't. Like there's no in between. And if I have to, there's a good chance I'm not gonna make it. Like I gotta go. We are just
Yeah,
talking
it
about
does.
kissing during movies now.
Hey man, it's part of the experience.
It is part of the
That's a
experience.
that's a integral part of the movie theater experience that everyone experiences.
You know what? Fair enough. Except Tyler somehow.
It's
Tyler
universal. Nope,
doesn't
he
have to pee
still had
during
his
the movie.
own anecdote about it.
True, he pees
That he's
after the movie.
weird.
But
Yeah, I'm weird. All right.
Yep.
basically, I think just to, I mean, not speaking on everybody's behalf here, but just to kind of say what I think we have summed up here. The second half, maybe even like a little earlier than that, is just, it's just cinema. It's so good. Like the action is crazy. The stunts are insane. The story of the entire movie is great. The acting is good. It felt like every character was used well, except maybe Gabriel, but everyone else was used well. Grace is really good in this. I really enjoyed her in this movie. I enjoyed literally everybody. I mean, it just feels like everybody's used well, and yeah, this is just a really good movie. So let's give our spoiler-free reviews and then ratings out of five. So Jack, you want to kick it off here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and improv this a little bit. So the final Mission Possible was really enjoyable for me. I just rewatched all of them. I've seen them all before, but going back through all of them really built this up for me. I after Dead Reckoning didn't have super high expectations, and this honestly blew them out of the water. I thought this was a fantastic way to end it. I thought they managed their pretty large cast, probably the biggest like group of likable characters they've ever had. Thought they managed it really well. Action sequences were great. I know it's long, but I really enjoyed the entire runtime. I didn't even have a big problem with the first half. I really loved this movie. And so I'm going to bite the bullet and just suck it up and give this movie the 5 star that I've been contemplating all of last night. I was at 4.5 or 5, and I'm giving it the 5. I don't care. It's too fun of an action movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was very careful going into this movie as I didn't want to set my expectations too high with, the concept of a part one and part two that can always go really well or really, really bad. But this movie's just amazing. I mean, from beginning to end, the story is phenomenal. The action in the whole second half is just amazing, absolutely peak. At no point are you not on the edge of your seat. The submarine scene is just crazy, some of the best we've seen in the entire franchise. And then the final act is just amazing with the airplanes. Everything about it is so good. The ending is super satisfying. The acting is great. The cast is great. I am pretty easily going to officially crown this as my favorite Mission Impossible movie and also give it a 5 star rating. Like Jack said, it's just this is what you want from action movies.
Well, this is by far the best way you could have ended the franchise. The emotions, the intensity, all of it at a sky high compared to the other movies. And just like you guys, this is the best one. That being said, the first half ish is a bit of a struggle to get through, and I just thought we were all over the place pacing wise and telling us where we are, what we're doing, all that fun stuff. But once you get past that, sit back and enjoy absolute cinema. I'm not a 5 star like you guys, but I am 4.5. It's
Mhm.
right there. It's right
Yeah,
there.
it's this is peak, fellas. This is good shit. Like
Mhm.
in terms of action movies go, it doesn't get much better than this one. I mean, really, it ascends above just an action film with the
Mhm.
story and once again it really is Tom Cruise's ability as an actor to do his own stunts that just elevates these movies. I mean, everything feels so much more real and that's such a privilege that we get as fans of movies to get to watch that because I mean the guy is risking his life every single time one of these movies are made just so we can enjoy the film. Like if you're not grateful for that, like I don't know what else to
Yeah.
say because actors don't give you that nowadays. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just it's like an old head right now, but
Yeah, you do.
it's true though. Like the stuff he gives us, it's just so meaningful, man. Like he is such a great actor.
I know it's another Tom Cruise movie, but this really does remind me of Top Gun Maverick, where it's just like a
Yeah.
summer movie you have to see, and it's just good action. Like it's not like
Mhm.
some revolutionary concept to rock your world, emotional story, but it's just a good, fun summer blockbuster movie that people should be seeing.
Mhm. When we got
Like,
onto the
yeah,
aircraft carrier, I thought he was gonna get in a jet. We were gonna get
that'd be sick.
some
That'd be
air
sick.
fighting.
We're back.
Yeah.
There were some times where you absolutely felt it a little bit. You were like,
Mhm.
I'm feeling
Pete,
the is this Pete? What are we watching here?
you
Like
feeling the need right now?
yeah, a little bit. And then there was the one moment where his hair's flying back and Jack leans over to me and goes, I just got a moment of Les Grossman. And I was like, it's like there he is,
I
Les.
forgot I said that.
Yeah. And as soon as you said that, there was another moment where I was like, oh shit, there he is. I see him.
It's like the Green Goblin mask.
All right. Well, we will go ahead and wrap up the episode there. If you guys enjoyed this episode, let us know in the comments if you agreed with us. Also, if you didn't enjoy it and you disagreed with us, please let us know. What didn't you like about it? It does seem like most of the fan base is all over this movie right now. So please, if you had issues with it, let us know. We're very curious, but we obviously had a really good time. So as always, make sure you guys check out our other social media platforms as we will be uploading clips and more content. And we will see you guys in the next episode.